Hello, welcome. If you are new, my name is Veronica. If not, welcome back. And today we're going to be talking about codependency and kind of what has helped me. I want to just start off by saying, sometimes we are ashamed of certain things about ourselves, and there's never anything to be ashamed of from from your story, from your life or your shadows. And I say this because sometimes this happens to me where I always talk about, I'm very open on what I'm going through and what has helped me, right? Because I know that we no one is perfect, but I do find myself sometimes not looking at those shadows, right? Or looking at those shadows through a lens of shame. But what I have found is the more compassionate I am with myself and the more compassionate I am with those shadows of mine, the more I'm able to transmute them into love, into strength, the more I'm able to let them go. So that's the first thing, right? Because you're probably maybe some of you are looking at this as, oh, codependency, I want it gone, or I hate it, or whatever, or, it's not serving me. But also, I want you to have the compassion for yourself, because the more compassion, and it's true, like this is with any shadow that you have or any limiting belief that you have, the more compassion you have for yourself and everyone else, the more compassionate you are, like loving and understanding and forgiving towards yourself, and law of oneness towards everyone else, because the more you are with everyone else, the more you are with yourself, the more you are with yourself, the more you are with everyone else. But the more you're able to, your ego kind of like trusts you to see those shadows, to receive what is, and you're able to then let them go, let them be heard. And so I just wanted to start that off, right? But what has helped me, right, is at first I didn't know I had, at first I knew that I had a little bit of codependency. And I'll tell you kind of how I realized that and what has helped me and things like that. But at first I kind of knew, right? But I was okay with it because it didn't really bother me at the moment. But then I started kind of triggering me a little bit because I wanted to kind of not be so codependent for whatever reason. Once you have a trigger, that means something is, how I see it, from my humble opinion, is, and that's how I look at emotions and I talk about them all the time, is that it just means that something is no longer serving you. And so it was no longer serving me to have this pattern, this belief. And so then I moved on my own, completely by myself. And I kind of knew I had a little bit of it, you know? At first I was okay with it, and then I would notice when I was by myself, I would feel uncomfortable. Like I always had friends over, or I was always on the phone, which is good. It's good. It's okay if that's how you like it. But when I wasn't, what is it stemming from, right? When I wasn't with someone, when I wasn't on the phone, when I was really forced to sit by myself and my emotions, there was a lot of things I was suppressing. And it was like my past relationships, right? I didn't have many friends, or by choice, I wouldn't have a lot of I would have close friends, like a small group. But that then I relied a lot on my partners for validation or for just always having someone there. And so when I was trying to break out of that, it was challenging for me. And it was like the feeling when I would be by myself, it would be like anxiety. It would be like I just didn't like it. I didn't feel emotions would arise. And it could have been that I was doing so many things that were new to me that required me to like be more independent. And so that's why all those feelings arise. But then I would start taking like edibles, which there's nothing wrong if that's what you do, but what is it stemming from, right? For me, it was just to soothe myself. Everyone soothes themselves differently. Um, I don't really watch a lot of TV, so that's how or drink alcohol. For me, it was just like taking edibles. If I wasn't with anyone, I would take an edible and it would kind of soothe me. And then I started like just doing it as a healing process. But then I wanted to kind of let that go. And I realized that when I wasn't doing that, I would like feel extremely triggered, like super sad, or just I needed that validation. I needed validation from external, like someone to make me feel safe or happy. And I started realizing and becoming aware that that wasn't healthy, right? Because everything is within myself. I can generate everything within myself. I am fulfilled at my core. I am abundance at my core. I am love at my core. No one can give me that. I know that truth. So that's kind of how I realized I had it. And then I started looking it up, doing more research on it. And, usually I think for me, it was I had, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to know where it stems from. It really doesn't matter. But kind of when I was doing my letting go process, which I talk about like on my YouTube and on my podcast and on my TikTok, it's when I was doing it, memories usually come up when I'm really honed in and I do my letting go process and I'm really releasing that suppressed energy, like really allowing it to, I allow myself to feel it. Memories, they just come to me. Words, feelings just like come to me. And so for me, it was like, yeah, maybe having like overprotective parents like formed an ego for me to like feel like I couldn't have make my own choices, or I needed someone to like, make those choices for me. Um so kind of also like trusting myself. So I kind of knew after that, like, oh, I can incorporate ways to really trust myself. And I knew that because sometimes, even to make a choice, like back in the day, even to make a choice, it was like, I don't know what I should do, and I would ask my partner, what do you think? Or my friend, like, what do you think? And I would have them make the choices for me. Like I said before, it would serve me, and then it didn't serve me anymore. And that's why I let it go. And so, anyways, um, after that, I started reinventing myself, I released that energy and started reprogramming myself as I'm a person that can generate everything within myself. I'm confident. I know the choices. I'm confident in the choices I make. I trust myself. I can be on my own and also enjoy other people's company. I started just like reprogramming myself with affirming new beliefs in the meantime. And whenever I would feel like uncomfortable when I was by myself, I would try to just sit with it, not take an edible or scroll on social media or gossip or whatever other way people usually do it. I would just sit with myself and I would hone into the feeling, allow myself to feel. At first, it was like and the thing is, okay, I would find my body, my mind, because my body would generate this feeling, right, of uncomfortable, like super anxious or whatever. And then my mind would try to project it. Your ego is just trying to protect you. It's not your fault, right? So it would project it towards circumstances, situations, like, oh, because of that, I feel like this. It was false. The feeling already existed within me. So I would just be like, no, the feeling is already existing within me. I'm just projecting it. Let me allow myself to feel it. I would feel it, and then quickly, I wouldn't. I would try my hardest at first. Now I don't mind it, but I would try my hardest at first to not get sucked into it, like not get absorbed with emotion, because if you know what that feeling is like, even if you have like a lot of anxiety, and I want to say, remember that don't identify yourself with the feeling. Like, don't say I am anxious or I never identify myself with any of those things, because I just may feel like that in the moment, because who you are at your core is love, bliss, fulfillment, abundance, wealth. That's who you are, all the good feelings. So you're accompanied, right, with these feelings, these icky feelings. So I would, if you know what that feels like, sometimes you can get so absorbed with negative thoughts and then projecting it towards things, and then you come back, or maybe I'm the problem, or blah, blah, blah. Just breathe, right? And I I really saw a shift when I really released the energy, and when I started reprogramming I shifted my identity with these new things. And when I would feel like this, I would just sit, allow myself to feel it, and quickly, like for a minute or two, just listen to it, and then just be like, you know what, that's not who I am. That's not who I am, because I know the truth. And then I would reaffirm my truth, and I would get up. I started doing the distraction method that I talk about lately in my like TikTok, where I like play with my fingers, or I just like look at colors, just things to just because you can't think of two things at once. So like if you look at your fingers or something, just to distract yourself in the moment, like in the moment, just to distract yourself from a bad thought. And then I would reprogram my mind, and then I would get up, or I would go do some self-care. So something that aligns me with this new identity. So for example, it can be going for a walk, going to the gym. Like, at first it might feel like you're forcing yourself, but after that it becomes a habitual thing, and this is who you are. So just remember that sometimes you might feel a little like forced, because you're trying, or not forced, but like a challenge, like you don't want to do it, but you kind of have to snap out of it, be your own best friend in that moment. And because I already released the energy, I already allowed it to be heard. So maybe the pattern is just like something triggered it a little bit, and it's there, but it's not who you are. You already allowed it to be heard. You're already this new person. And I would tell myself, like, there's no reason for me to feel like this, because this is not who I am anymore. Maybe that's the old Veronica, but that's not who I am, because who I am enough, and I don't need anything or anyone, because I know that already, like, what I desire desires me already. You know what I'm saying? So I would just, whatever thing I would want, validation I would want from external things, I would produce them internally for myself. So I would live as in the wish fulfilled. I would close my eyes, right? I would distract myself, affirm it, and quickly I would just close my eyes, and I would, whatever I'm trying to seek for, it's like already in existence. It's already mine. So I can't be seeking something that's already mine, you know? If it's attention, or if it's validation, or if it's whatever it is. Company, like, I already have company in my mind. I already have attention in my mind. Like, I already have validation in my mind. I'm just saying things like whatever, however, whatever emotions come to you. Um, so I would, like, it's already in existence. It already is. So I would produce the feeling within myself. And then afterwards, I would go do something. Go for, like, drink some water, maybe paint my nails, brush my hair, you know, do some gua sha, or whatever it's called, the thing with your face. Is it called gua sha? Anyways, I think I said it wrong, but whatever, maybe do some mirror work, maybe go do something fun. And And then afterwards, maybe in a healthy manner, call maybe my friend or my sister. But afterwards, like, I'll try to delay that because I'm generating it within myself. At first, it was challenging, I'm not gonna lie. But once I did it, I seen massive change within myself, and I like took back my energy. I also kept affirming, like, I'm the main character of my story. So basically, what you say goes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the main character of your story. You can't be the protagonist or the extra in your own movie. So you get to decide. Bring back the energy to you. Like, even sometimes when you're like daydreaming, sometimes I would daydream and it would be like other people. So now I like I'm the main character. So I'm like taking my energy back, if that makes sense. So just become aware of what you're telling yourself or what you're thinking every single day. And it can be like, at first, it can be a little tiring maybe. Like, you're constantly just being aware and just reprogramming, affirming new beliefs. Affirming is just thinking, like, replacing your old thoughts with your new thoughts that serve you, and you're becoming the main character of your story. And also, key thing that helped me was improving my self-concept. Improving my self-concept was absolutely key. I've done in the past shadow work, inner child work, um, hypnosis and stuff like that. What has helped me, honestly, is what I'm telling you right now. Because it's like, even therapy, I think I like this better than that, because I with like therapy and stuff like that, and I have nothing against, therapy or inner child work or shadow work. It's all very similar, but for me, it's because I kind of go in a loop, just talking about the same thing over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So here, I'm more like, it's more effective. I'm releasing the energy. Yeah, like, when you can't try to logic, for me, right? From my humble opinion, you and from what I've experienced and what I've tried, I can't try to logically figure something out with my own level of awareness of what's going on in my subconscious mind. And so for me, when I'm really feeling and honing into the emotion, my body is going to tell me, my intuition is going to tell me what it is I have to let go of. And if I'm ready to receive why exactly it happened, then great. But it doesn't matter. That's what I've realized. Before, I would like do this whole thing of how and what happened, why am I like this, what in my childhood triggered this, and then reprogram it. But for me, the faster way is just honing into the energy, allow it to be heard. Doesn't matter how it happened or what, because that no longer serves me. What matters is right now, just releasing it, allowing it to be heard, and then reprogramming your mind so you don't get stuck or in a loop or waste like time in a way. And after that, mm, it got shorter and shorter. Like, sometimes I would feel like that after, but then I would start enjoying my company. There was like moments I would start enjoying my own company, maybe watching some TV by myself or doing certain things by myself, and I was like, oh, okay, this is not so bad. And then eventually, like, it's just better. Like, you know that you don't really need anything or anyone. It kind of becomes fun in a way. Like, you're creating your reality. You are the creator and the producer of your reality. Like, that what you desires you. And you trust yourself. You trust that universe, God, divine, however you want to see, is always has your back. And that everything is always working out in your favor. And you're okay. You're always going to be okay. And sometimes I want to say, you do catch yourself, like, then you become aware where you're starting to put a lot of, you're with someone. Let's say I'm talking to someone and I get really comfortable, and then, like, old habits, but this is good. I want you to look at it as a good thing when you catch yourself, because this is a moment where like you're being tested in a way. Are you going to act the same way, or are you going to act like your new self? And I caught myself like a couple times where I would want to eat something, or I'm ordering something, and I would look to the guy I'm talking to and be like, "What do you think I should order?" And I'm laughing because I mean, I don't know if anyone else does this, but that was just a sign of me. Like, for example, me being codependent, where even from what I eat, like I would ask my, like, what do you think I should eat? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't talk about this. A lot of people aren't going to tell you this because it's maybe a little like not the greatest, but like I said, I'm very open, and because I know that maybe it'll help you. You know what I'm saying? And just because I was one way before, it doesn't mean I'm the same way now. And this is good to evolve and not to have shame for those things that have shaped you, or that, you know, some shadows or how you were. But anyways, so I would catch myself and I'll be like, oh, why am I doing that again? And then I'd be like, okay, you know what? In this moment, let me actually choose myself. You know, let me choose for myself. Let me make decisions for myself. Let me, in a healthy way, stemming from love, stemming from abundance, you know, because I can, because, you know, etc. And once in a while, it's okay to like, yeah, ask for advice and stuff, but you know all the answers all within yourself. You always know the answers. Like, you don't have to ask anyone, you don't need anyone, you don't have to depend on anyone to give you anything outside of anything, emotions or anything, like an emotional state to give you validation or love or happiness, or bring a smile to your face or whatever. You don't need that. So once you start like knowing that and reprogramming that and affirming that and showing up for yourself and doing actions, and you will be tested here and there. Like, situations may happen and you're gonna maybe go to your old self, but then you're gonna be like, oh, you know, like someone might do something and make you upset, but then you can be like, okay, no, like it's just being mirrored back at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the creator of my reality, so this person's doing this and I feel like this because, you know, this is being mirrored. What is this? Let me become the observer of what's happening right now. It's not personal, because what I want always wants me. And this is just being mirrored. This is just being projected to me. And if it's an icky feeling, just allow yourself to feel it and then produce the feeling that you want within yourself. And then, or maybe it's a certain situation where you're going to be tested to go back, but just choose you. And once you do that, it's like you're literally in the moment reprogramming, like you're shifting in that moment stronger, like more, because it's like real life rather than just imagination, which, you know, it all starts here. It all starts in your mind and then it's projected. But anyways, that's kind of how I did it. I hope it wasn't like too challenging to follow along. I feel like if you go through this is something that you might understand more than if you don't go through it. But those are the things that really, really helped me, because I know, and I want you to think of it this way, like whatever it is, whatever shadow, whatever limiting belief, it's not limiting until it no longer serves you. So you might be okay. It's not, if you're codependent, if that's serving you right now, then perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't try to change it if it's serving you. Like, if you're okay with it. When you're ready to really evolve from that, or it's no longer serving you, then you'll probably feel a little triggered, and then you can look back at this video and see how it helped you. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of how I did it. I don't think I'm missing anything else. I mean, I released the energy, I allowed it to be heard. It was challenging a couple times, but there is light in the end of the tunnel. um, I reprogrammed my mind, affirmed, reinvented myself, improved my self concept. And yeah, I think that's about it. Also, what I realized is that sometimes in general, and this is with anything, this is not just with codependency. Sometimes if you don't know how it feels to be like so in your power, like so empowered, so in your frame, your ego may like get triggered a little bit. You may subconsciously feel a little fear because you don't know what that's like. But I want you to surrender that and trust and have faith that everything is always working for you. Don't be afraid of that, like strength, that inner strength. Don't be afraid to fully let go of your old identity and merge with this new identity. I did a video on how to reinvent yourself. Go watch it if it helps you. I also came out with this guided meditation for beginners. It's like a 10 to 15-minute meditation if you are interested in meditating. And I added, it's like a grounding meditation, and I did add some visualization in the end to help you kind of merge with this version of yourself. But go check it out if it's something that you're interested in. But don't be afraid to fully let go of your old identity. Because I know for myself, it was a little challenging sometimes. It was like, I wasn't sure if, like, I consciously was like, oh, yeah, like, I want this. But then, like, when I would do my meditations, I would, like, feel it. Like, I don't know if that happens to you guys where you guys can feel your ego. Like, you can feel, like, when it's, like, not really you, when you're being held back from fear. But that happens to me. So I would feel it. And you kind of have to surrender that. Continue surrendering and trusting. And it's okay. Have the like be kind and compassionate to yourself. Oh, and another thing, especially if you're codependent and you're like, try not to be so reactive. Like don't be so reactive. Like listen more, talk less. Like really listen to people. Like just because everything's a mirror. So listen to what's going on around you, to yourself, to your body, and just become the observer. Don't get so absorbed in your thoughts. Don't get so absorbed because remember, your ego's going to try telling you things. Your thoughts are going to come up, but they're not true. Like, don't get so absorbed by them. Just become the observer and know that it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel these things. It's okay to allow yourself to really feel it. And don't get so absorbed in that feeling alone. Like once it's released, reprogram. Like I was just talking about, like reprogram your mind. That's very, very, very important. Like don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in that feeling. Because if you get stuck in the feeling, you can stay there for a little bit. Like it has happened to me where I get stuck in the feeling and I'm there for like 2 weeks. Sometimes I used to get stuck there for like a month. I'm not even kidding. I wish I was joking when I'm telling you that. When I used to do like the old, like if you look at my videos from like 2 years ago, yeah, I sometimes used to get stuck for a month. That's not good. No one wants to be stuck in like a loop for a month, but that's why I prefer this method more, like what I'm telling you now. But try it out, anyways. I think I told you everything on how I healed my codependency. Hopefully it helps you. If you have any other ways, be sure to share. Um, yeah, and what was I gonna say? I'll let you guys know. No. Anyways, I'll talk to you all in the next episode. Bye.